My name is Judy Kelso. I'm 29 years old, and if you looked at my life from the outside, you'd probably think it was steady, simple, maybe even quietly successful. I run a small automotive restoration shop in Cleveland. Nothing huge, nothing fancy, just a 3-bay garage where the air always smells like engine cleaner and old steel. I restore classic cars for people who want to hold on to a piece of the past. Camaros, Chevelles, Mustangs, machines that outlived their owners but kept their stories. I didn't grow up rich, but I grew up around people who believed in honest work. My dad was a machinist for 35 years, and he taught me more about integrity than any self-help book ever could. He also taught me something else. Build your foundation before you build anything with anyone else. That's why, 3 years ago, I bought my own modest 2-bedroom house. Nothing extravagant, just 1,100 square feet with a fenced yard for my rescue mutt, Rocco, and a detached garage where I work on personal projects when the shop closes. I live simply. I manage my money. I show up on time. I don't make promises I can't keep. For a long time, I thought those values were enough to protect me from heartbreak. But heartbreak never asks if you're ready. I met Evan Ward 3 years ago at a car show. Funny how life pivots on such small moments. He was helping a friend show off a heavily modified Corvette, a loud, shiny, impractical machine that fit Evan's personality perfectly. He was handsome in that polished, social media kind of way. Perfect smile, perfect hair, clothes that looked intentionally casual. He had that kind of energy people orbit around. Charming, dramatic, endlessly entertaining. Our first conversation lasted 2 hours. Our first date lasted 5. By the end of that first week, Evan had already woven himself into my life in a way that felt effortless. He made me feel seen, adored, and, maybe most dangerously, needed. He worked as a regional coordinator for a cosmetics company. Events, PR campaigns, social presence. His world was fast, glossy, and constantly online. Mine was slow, mechanical, and rooted in the past. Somehow it felt like a good balance at first. But relationships don't fall apart in one moment. They fracture in little ways, long before you notice the splintering. Looking back now, I can see the red flags. The way Evan constantly performed for attention, online and offline. The way he'd criticize my work schedule, saying I cared more about rusted cars than us. The way he would take pictures of us constantly, as if love wasn't real unless someone else saw it. And then there was Tara, his best friend, his ex-girlfriend. He called their past a failed spark, but the way she inserted herself into his life told a different story. Tara was the epitome of chaotic glamour, always chasing the next party, the next thrill, the next Instagrammable moment. She openly disliked me, never to my face, but always in the subtle ways that count. "Wow, Judy, you're so practical," she'd say with a smile too tight. Or, "Evan needs excitement. I just hope you can give him that." Little barbs disguised as banter. But Evan swore they were just friends. I wanted to believe him. Love makes you believe things you shouldn't. 7 months ago, Evan proposed. A simple moment, just the two of us in my garage while I worked on a '69 Mustang. He said he loved my passion, my grit, the way I could bring dead things back to life. I said yes because I believed in the version of him he showed me that night, the version who dreamed of a life together, a home, a future. I didn't know then that he would torch all of it in one weekend. The Vegas trip was Tara's idea, of course. "A bachelor trip he deserves before being tied down," she said with that sugary grin. 6 of Evan's friends planned it with her, Thursday to Sunday, MGM Grand, pool parties, clubs, bottle service. Evan was practically vibrating with excitement for a month. Meanwhile, my friends were planning a quiet weekend lakeside cabin for me. No drama, no glitter, no live streams. Evan teased me about it over and over. "Come on, babe, my trip is going to be legendary. Yours is like a book club retreat." I'd laugh it off, but a part of me felt something I couldn't name, something uneasy, like a thread pulling loose. The morning of his flight, I drove him to the airport. He wore a crisp white button-up, sleeves rolled to his elbows, hair styled like he was stepping onto a magazine cover. Tara was already texting him nonstop. His friends had a group chat named Last Nights of Freedom. I shouldn't have looked, but I did. Their itinerary read like a manifesto of bad decisions. Still, I tried to be the supportive fiancé. At departures, I hugged him, kissed him, told him to have fun. And then he said the line that should have hit me harder than it did. Don't worry, baby. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. He laughed. I didn't. I watched him walk inside, surrounded by a crowd of loud friends. Tara threw her arms around his neck the moment she saw him. They took a group selfie immediately. That night, I stayed late at the shop, working on a Mustang roof panel while my friend Jake brought takeout and kept me company. It was peaceful, just the sound of the metal sander and the faint hum of the radio in the background. Around 8:30 p.m., Jake glanced at his phone and frowned. Judy? You might want to see this. He turned his screen toward me. Tara's Instagram story. The first clip was harmless. Evan in the hotel room, wearing cheap casino sunglasses and a sash that said, "Groom to be." The guys cheered. The room was a mess of empty bottles and neon lights, standard Vegas noise. But then the second clip played. Evan at the pool party. Evan with two girls leaning into him as he took shots. Evan's arm sliding around a stranger's waist. Evan letting someone fix his hair while Tara filmed and laughed. My stomach dropped. I told myself it was just rowdy partying, but a voice in me whispered, "This is the beginning." I clicked the next video. Evan dancing with another woman, too close, too comfortable, her hands on him, his on her hips. Jake said nothing. He didn't need to. I kept watching, clip after clip, my chest tightened with every one. And then the live stream began. Evan, club lights flashing, music thumping, and his lips pressed firmly against a stranger's mouth. The feed lagged. My breath didn't. It felt like the floor sank beneath me, and that was only the start. I didn't sleep that night. I don't think I even blinked. I sat at my kitchen table with my phone in my hand, refreshing Tara's story like some kind of self-inflicted torture. Every time I told myself, okay, that has to be the last one, another video appeared. The next morning, I opened Instagram before I even brushed my teeth. And there it was, a fresh wave of humiliation. A slow-motion clip of Evan at a pool party, shirtless, tanned, sunglasses on, surrounded by three women in bikinis who looked like models. Tara captioned it, "Our boy living his best life before marriage, # last ride." Their laughter echoed over the music. Someone yelled, "Hey, groom-to-be, show us the ring hand." Evan held up his left hand and made a show of wiggling his ring finger. Bare, free, as if he were proudly proving he wasn't tied down yet. The comments were worse. "He's too fine to settle down. Don't marry him, sis. He belongs to the streets. This is why you do Vegas right." I screenshotted everything. Every video, every comment, every disgusting joke. My hands shook, but my mind felt cold. Too cold. Like something inside me had frozen solid so I could survive what I was seeing. Late in the afternoon, Evan posted on his own story a boomerang clip of him taking a body shot off some girl's stomach. Her friends screamed in the background. Evan slapped her thigh playfully afterward. His caption? "Vegas rules. No remorse, not a hint of guilt, not even one attempt to hide it from me. Because he thought I wouldn't look, or he didn't care if I saw." I didn't know which was worse. That evening, things escalated from awful to catastrophic. Tara went live. I'll never forget that moment. The notification popped up. Tara Kim is live, with Evan Ward, official, and others. Jake was sitting on my couch, eating leftover noodles, trying to distract me by talking about some ridiculous customer who insisted his Pontiac had a naturally occurring misfire. I wasn't listening. My heart was pounding so loudly it drowned out everything else. I tapped the live stream. It opened with flashing club lights and a chaotic mess of bodies on the dance floor. Tara was shouting something into the camera about one last night of freedom, but her words blurred into the music. Then she flipped the camera. Evan was kissing a woman. Not a peck, not a drunken accident. A full, heated, two-handed on her face kiss. Her arms wrapped around his neck. His hands slid down her back. Her friends cheered. Tara zoomed in and yelled, "Groom of the year!" I felt something inside me snap. Jake grabbed the phone from my hand. "Judy, don't. You've seen enough." But I yanked it back. Because pain sometimes needs to be witnessed in full before you can walk away. The live stream cut to another angle. Evan grinding against a different girl, laughing, drinking, letting her run her hands through his hair like she'd known him forever. He wasn't drunk. He wasn't confused. He wasn't pressured. He was enjoying it, loving it, living a double life in neon lights while I sat alone in our quiet, honest home. When the live stream finally ended, I stared at my reflection in the black screen of my phone. I didn't recognize myself. My lips were trembling, my vision blurred. I breathed shallow and fast like a trapped animal. Rocco whined and pressed his head against my knee, sensing something was horribly wrong. But in that moment, a strange calm washed over me. Not peace, not acceptance, something colder. Clarity. The kind that settles in after you've seen enough proof to bury every last doubt. I opened my laptop and began canceling the wedding. The venue, gone. $4,500 lost. The caterer, gone. $3,200 down the drain. The photographer, half the deposit returned. At least one person had empathy. The florist, non-refundable. $750 gone. DJ, gone. Cake, gone. Honeymoon, partially refunded, but still a $2,200 loss. By 1:47 a.m., I had canceled our entire wedding with the precision of someone dismantling a bomb. Every email was polite, professional, emotionless, because the part of me capable of crying had burned out hours ago. At 2 a.m., I called my dad. He answered on the second ring, voice groggy. Judy, what's wrong? I explained everything. The Vegas trip, the live streams, the kisses, the chaos. He went silent, completely terrifyingly silent. Then he said the words I needed most. I am proud of you for calling the wedding. Proud. You didn't let this become a lifetime mistake. I felt a tear slip down my cheek, the first one since the live stream. Change your locks first thing in the morning, he added. Today. Don't wait. And pack his things before he comes home. I nodded, even though he couldn't see me. And sweetheart, this isn't your failure. This is his character. That line broke me open, but in a good way. By sunrise, I hadn't slept a minute, but I knew exactly what I had to do. At 7:30 a.m., the locksmith arrived. I rekeyed every entrance, front door, back door, garage keypad. He didn't ask questions. I was grateful for that. At noon, Jake came over to help me pack Evan's belongings. Every shirt, every shoe, every personal item. I labeled the boxes and drove them to a storage unit I rented for $75 a month. I filmed everything, photographed everything, documented everything. Because if Evan decided to make trouble, I'd be ready. Jake looked at the filled storage unit and said softly, Judy, you're going nuclear. I closed the lock and replied, he dropped the match. I'm just cleaning the ashes. Sunday morning, Evan's crew posted their airport photos. Everyone looked hungover, defeated, messy. But Evan, he looked scared. The panic had set in. Probably saw my wedding cancellation announcement. I'd posted only one sentence on Facebook. The wedding scheduled for October 23rd has been canceled. Thank you for respecting my privacy. No accusations, no details, no drama. Just a clean cut. But it detonated like a grenade. My phone lit up with messages, calls, emails, relatives asking questions. I ignored them all. By evening, my doorbell rang. I checked my security camera. Evan, Tara, 3 of their friends. Still in their airport clothes. Still dragging their luggage. And Evan was pounding on my door like the house was on fire. Judy, open up. We need to talk. I stood still, completely calm. Because this was the moment I'd been preparing for. Evan's pounding shook the door like he expected it to break under the force of his guilt. Tara and the others stood behind him, shifting nervously, luggage still parked at their feet. It would have been almost comical if the situation weren't so heartbreaking. I didn't open the door. Instead, I tapped the icon on my phone and spoke through the Ring camera, my voice steady, controlled, unnervingly calm, even to my own ears. Evan, step back from the door. He froze. His eyes darted up toward the camera, confusion flashing across his wine-blurred features. Judy, why aren't you letting me in? What is going on? I took a breath. You know what's going on. Tara groaned loudly and crossed her arms. Oh my God, Judy, don't be dramatic. It was Vegas. I almost laughed. The irony of Tara calling me dramatic after live streaming her best friend's fiancé, grinding, kissing, and taking body shots off strangers would have been funny if it hadn't been the cause of my agony. Vegas doesn't erase choices, I replied coldly. It just exposes people who were waiting for the opportunity. Evan stepped closer again. Babe, Judy, please just open the door. Let me explain. Explain what? My voice sharpened. The kissing, the grabbing, the live streams, the body shots, or the fact that you let Tara record all of it like some twisted highlight reel? He flinched. The others looked away. Even Tara swallowed hard. He tried again. I was drunk. We all were. I didn't think... Exactly, I interrupted. You didn't think about me, about our relationship, about our wedding in 6 weeks, about the consequences of every idiot thing you did. Evan pressed his hand against the door as if that could somehow soften reality. Judy, it didn't mean anything. My laughter cut through the air like broken glass. You kissed 3 different women, Evan. 3. In publicly posted videos. You were acting like a single man with no fiancé watching your every move. Tara scoffed loudly. Oh, come on, it was just a little fun. People cheat in Vegas all the time. It's not real. I leaned closer to the camera. Those girls' mouths were real. The cameras were real. Your hands on them were real. Vegas isn't a moral black hole. It's a city, not an excuse. Evan ran both hands through his hair, pacing in small circles. I swear to God, Judy, you're taking this too far. Just open the damn door so we can talk like adults. We are talking, I said. And no, you will not come into my home again. He looked stunned, like he genuinely couldn't comprehend losing access to a place he'd assumed would always be his. Tara piped up again, her voice laced with venom. Wow, Ice Queen much? No wonder he needed to unwind. Evan whipped toward her. Tara, shut up. But she'd already said enough. His silence after her words said even more. My jaw clenched. Evan, if you still let her talk for you, we really are done. He turned back to this camera, eyes wide, desperate. No, no, Judy, please. I don't care what Tara says. Just let me fix this. Fix? The word tasted bitter. You didn't break a vase, Evan. You didn't forget a grocery item. You humiliated me in front of hundreds of people. Do you understand that? Your friends posted everything. Your coworkers saw it. My customers saw it. My family saw it. His breathing was shaky now. Please don't do this. I love you. Love doesn't look like what you did in Vegas. His lower lip trembled. You can't just end everything like this. I ended nothing, I said. You ended us the moment you kissed someone else. The girl standing behind Tara murmured, damn, under her breath. Evan tried a different angle. The wedding. You didn't cancel it, right? We can still fix it. We can talk to the vendors. It's already canceled, I said plainly. Everything. The venue, the caterer, the florist, the DJ, the honeymoon, all of it. He staggered back a step. What? You'll get your things back, I continued. They're in storage unit 144 on Cedar Avenue. Here's the key. I slid the key under the door. A tiny metallic sound echoed in the hallway. Evan didn't pick it up. He stared at it like it was a death sentence. That's it? He whispered. You're just done? Finally, after everything, I felt myself soften. Not sympathy, clarity. No, Evan, I whispered. You were done days ago. I'm just accepting it. His panic surged. You can't kick me out. This is my home too. Tara chimed in. Yeah, legally she can't. I cut her off. Evan, your name was never on the mortgage, the lease, the utility bills, or the deed. Legally, you were a guest. He blinked rapidly as the truth sank in. I live here, he tried again. No, you stayed here. And then with steel in my voice. And your stay is over. I watched the moment his pride shattered. He bent to pick up the key. His hand trembled. Then he whispered, You'll regret this. I regret saying yes to your proposal, I replied. The group stood frozen. Silence wrapped around them like a heavy fog. Finally, Tara grabbed her suitcase. Let's go, she muttered. She's lost it. But before they left, Evan turned back toward the camera. Tears streamed down his cheeks. His voice cracked open. Judy, I'm begging you. Please don't leave me. It hit me harder than any video had. Part of me, the part that loved the version of Evan who proposed in my garage, ached. But love isn't enough to rebuild something burned to ash. I'm not leaving you, I said softly. You lost me. Evan collapsed to his knees, sobbing. His friends dragged him toward the car like a broken thing. The last words he said before Tara shut the car door were, I'm nothing without you, I whispered, so quietly only the empty hallway could hear. Then you should have valued me when you had me. The car finally pulled away. I stood alone in my living room, breathing in the stillness. But the nightmare wasn't over, because the next morning, Evan tried something far worse than begging. He hired a lawyer. The email from Evan's lawyer arrived at 9:12 a.m. sharp. I was at the shop, halfway through welding a replacement panel on a '67 Mustang, when my phone buzzed. I wiped my hands on a towel, expecting a parts shipment update. Instead, the subject line hit me like a slap in the face. Formal demand regarding residential and financial entitlements. Evan Ward. My stomach tightened. I opened it. Inside was a multi-page list of demands written by someone who had either lost all touch with reality or had been fed lies by a desperate man. Evan was claiming right to continue living in our shared residence, right to continue using the marital vehicle, reimbursement for wedding costs incurred jointly, compensation for emotional distress, protection of his public reputation, and the most ludicrous line of all, Ms. Kelso's unilateral termination of the engagement constitutes a breach of implied marital contract. I laughed, out loud. A sharp, disbelieving sound that startled Rocco awake on his blanket. My employee Kyle poked his head around the corner. You good, boss? Oh, I'm fantastic, I muttered, tossing my phone onto the workbench. Just reading fiction disguises as legal documentation. I forwarded the email to my attorney, Frank, with a single sentence. Handle him. Frank replied within an hour. On it. He called me minutes later, voice dry and amused. Judy, I've seen decades of entitlement, but this is top-tier delusion. Tell me something I don't know. He has zero claim, zero residency rights, zero property claim, zero financial entitlement. You bought that house years before he even knew you. The car is in your name. And emotional distress? Frank scoffed. Please. The only distress here is him realizing actions have consequences. I exhaled slowly, some tension melting from my shoulders. Frank continued, I'll send a response. No negotiation, no compromise, no wiggle room. 30 minutes later, the reply went out. A calm, brutal demolition of every point Evan's lawyer tried to make, with attached screenshots of the Vegas live streams as evidence of his documented infidelity. Frank's closing line was a masterpiece. My client owes your client nothing except the courtesy of silence moving forward. I wished I could have framed it, but Evan didn't give up. Of course he didn't. That afternoon, he showed up at my shop. I saw him through the new security cameras before he even got out of his mom's borrowed car. His mother, Patricia, was in the passenger seat, arms crossed and furious. His sister, Danielle, was in the back, looking like she had come prepared for a group intervention. I stepped outside before he could enter the garage. Evan, you can't be here, I said firmly. He took a shaky step forward. Judy, please, Patricia cut him off, marching to the front like a general. Judy, you need to stop this nonsense. Evan is devastated. You blindsided him. My nostrils flared. Blindsided him? He live-streamed cheating on me. Patricia waved a dismissive hand. Oh, that. People do silly things on trips. Alcohol makes you act out. That's not cheating. It's just immaturity. Danielle joined in. Yeah, you're overreacting. You're really going to throw away 3 years? Over some harmless fun? I took a slow, grounding breath. Fun is blackjack. Fun is dancing. Fun is a little too much champagne. I stepped closer, eyes burning. Kissing 3 different women on camera is cheating. Evan flinched again. His mother rolled her eyes. Well, you've always been uptight. My jaw clenched so tightly it hurt. You don't get to call me uptight because your son humiliated me in front of the world. She scoffed. This is ridiculous. Evan has nowhere to live. You can't just throw him out on the street. He can stay with you, I replied evenly. We don't have space. Not my problem, I said. He lost the right to live with me when he treated our relationship like a frat house game. Danielle stepped forward, voice sharp. You're heartless. I turned my head slowly toward her. No, I'm done. Patricia tried again. At least let him keep the car. He needs to get to work. The car, I said calmly, is legally mine. Title, loan, insurance, all under my name. He paid to use it. That arrangement is over. Evan's voice cracked. Judy, please. I looked at him, really looked. His face was pale, eyes bloodshot, posture small. He looked like a boy who'd been caught stealing cookies, not a grown man who detonated his own life. There was a time when seeing him like this would have shattered me, but not anymore. You need to leave, I said quietly. Now. His mother threw her hands up. This is revenge. No, I replied. This is consequence. Patricia sputtered, searching for a retort. I ended it for her. Goodbye. I walked back inside the shop and hit the button to close the garage door. Evan reached for the edge like he could stop it, but it shut with a heavy final thud. Kyle let out a low whistle. Damn. Rocco barked once, as if adding his own commentary. The next 2 weeks were chaos for Evan. I didn't need to talk to him to know. It trickled back to me through mutual acquaintances, small-town gossip, and social media echoes. His parents' house was cramped. He lost access to reliable transportation. The videos got him in trouble at work. Hard to maintain professional brand representation when half the internet has seen you swapping spit with strangers in a club. Tara's relationship imploded completely. 2 girls from the Vegas trip broke up with their boyfriends. The friend group dissolved. Vegas had done something even Evan never expected. It exposed everyone. The ones who encouraged him. The ones who cheated alongside him. The ones who filmed it like entertainment. Everything rotten surfaced. As for me, I slept better than I had in months. I focused on the shop. I took Rocco on long evening walks. I reclaimed the peace I hadn't realized I'd been losing piece by piece. The final message Evan ever sent came 2 weeks later, through a number I didn't recognize. A long, rambling apology. Promises to change. Begging for another chance. I didn't respond, not out of cruelty, out of survival. You can forgive someone without allowing them back into your life. You can love someone and know they are no longer safe to love. 3 months later, I finished restoring the '69 Mustang, the one Evan pretended to like but never understood. It roared back to life under my hands, loud, fierce, unapologetically powerful. Kind of like me. I took it for a late-night drive, the sky clear, the city quiet, the air crisp with winter. At a red light, I caught my reflection in the window. I didn't look broken. I looked reborn. Evan didn't ruin my life. He revealed the parts I still needed to strengthen. And that, strangely, felt like a gift. As I drove across the bridge, engine rumbling beneath me, I whispered, "This is my foundation. My life, my future, my peace. No live stream can take that away."